Let's start with the fundamentals here because investing, in my personal experience and opinion as somebody who's learned to invest over the years, only really makes sense once a few things are already true for you. I want to ask you, are you really ready to start investing? Because investing only really makes sense once a few things are true for you. First, having your emergency fund in place, that's your safety net before you put your money at risk. Personally, I would never put money that is for my family's financial security safety net into the market. Second, high interest debt should generally be handled first. Investing rarely beats paying off something like a credit card, sitting at 20, 25% or more on interest. And third, any money that you need in the next year or two should not go into the market at all. That's not what investing is for. Here, the lens that I'm using is having a long term mindset, 5, 10 plus years of your money in the market. So, here specifically, we are talking about a brokerage account that is an after tax account, a taxable brokerage account. This is not related to your 401k. This is not focused on retirement investing. Now, here's the checklist we're going to use to evaluate both of these platforms, and everything after this slide maps back to these five things. How much money you need to start with any of these options, what fees and expense ratios you actually pay, very, very important. What you're allowed to buy, of course, like stocks, ETFs, and anything beyond that. And whether your money is protected if the company runs into trouble. This is the SIPC insurance. And it's like the FDIC for banks, brokers, or brokerages also have that. And finally, the company's background and track records. Now, both of these platforms are newer players in the investing world, but neither one is untested or sketchy. Now, on one hand, we got SoFi, actually founded back in 2011. It did go public, no pun intended, on the NASDAQ back in 2021 and launched SoFi Invest specifically in 2019. Now, on the other hand, we got Public. Now, Public itself launched in 2019 and it was built from the ground up around commission free, beginner friendly investing. Now, both of these are registered broker dealers, which means they're regulated the same way any legitimate broker. And neither of these is a fly by night app. Both have regulatory oversight behind them. So they're serious organizations. Now, quick definition before we go any further, since this word comes up a lot and this video is targeted towards beginners, anyways. So I want to make this very, very inclusive. Now, we're going to be talking about ETFs, which is an exchange traded fund. It's basically a single investment that holds a mix of many stocks or bonds together. Buying one ETF gives you instant diversification instead of just picking an individual company yourself. So as opposed to picking only Amazon, if you buy an ETF, you will be investing in Amazon, Google, Costco, etc. Of course, depending on what the ETF holds. Now, both SoFi and Public let you buy individual stocks and ETFs, and both support fractional shares as well. So the cool thing about this is that you don't need to buy a whole share to get started. For example, you can buy Amazon worth $10 worth of Amazon fractional shares. You don't have to buy however much it is nowadays, 400, 1,000, whatever, however much that is. SoFi also offers automated investing if you want hands off through the robo managed portfolio, robo advisors. And now, on the other hand, you also got Public, which also offers bonds and a high yield cash account alongside stocks and ETFs. So, for a first time investor, honestly, stocks and ETFs are really all you need to understand today. And everything else is something that you can learn as you get a little bit more familiar with the process and investing and really just flexing that investing muscle and developing it over time. So here's a screenshot, of course, from the website from SoFi Invest, one here from Public. One thing that I've noticed, Public seems to be a little bit more AI enabled, and SoFi is a little bit more for beginners, a little bit more hands off. So let's go into all of the remaining details because it's very, very important. Now, here's a term that you'll see on every broker's website, whether it is Fidelity or Vanguard, those major like all timers. And I want to make sure it's actually clear on what it means. Now, SIPC protects your account up to $500,000. So what that means is if the brokerage itself fails or goes out of business, the likelihood of that very low, but who knows what could happen. The important part here is that it does not protect you, SIPC, that is, the insurance does not protect you from market losses. If your investments drop in value because the market just goes down, that's not what SIPC covers. SIPC only covers if the broker itself goes down. So let's say you got $10,000 in your broker and it's just sitting there, not invested. It's sitting there and the broker just goes away, right? Something happens. Well, in that case, the $10,000 will be returned to you because it would be insured through SIPC. Now, both SoFi and Public are SIPC members, so your account is protected the exact same way at either one of these options. Now, so this is about protecting you from company failure, not investment risk. Very, very clear. And those are two different things. Now, this was the one that actually affects your returns over time. And this is when we're talking about fees and expense ratios. And they're fancy terms. It just means the broker charges you a fee for you just having an account, for maintaining your investments. So we need to slow down here a second because neither platform charges commissions on a stock or ETF trades anymore. Now, expense ratios are set by the ETF or fund itself, not by SoFi or Public. This is a fee that exists no matter which broker you use. So you don't blame the platform for it, right? SoFi's optional automated investing feature adds a 0.25% annual management fee if you choose to use it. Public does not have an equivalent fee on its core investing. Now, one more thing worth mentioning here is that since AI investing tools are becoming more popular, SoFi has one called Composer, and it actually costs $40 a month. Public has a similar AI research tool called Alpha, and that one is free to use. Though neither of these AI tools is something you need to worry about as a beginner, just starting out, just read the fine print of any free account. You just want to make sure that you understand exactly what you're getting into and also understand the tools that you have available at your disposal. Trading itself is free, but not every feature that both of these apps or companies offer is free. Now let's put it all together in one place. You can start with SoFi with $5, Public with $1. It's safe to say that if you got $50, $100 and you start automating that money to go into your account, which is what I recommend, then you are good to go, right? Like for example, when I first started, I was a little bit afraid of investing in the market. And that led me to just starting with $50 because I just wanted to overcome that fear. Now, at the end of the day, both of these accounts are also SIPC insured, so your protection is identical there. SoFi's standout is how it connects with SoFi banking, and Public standout is its bond access and high yield cash account. SoFi as well is a full-fledged organization with high yield savings and checking, and you can make transfers. I personally have a SoFi account, by the way, investing and checking. So I'm just a lot more familiar with SoFi because that's the one that I personally have. All right. Now, with that being said, let's go over top 3 frequently asked questions when it comes to this subject and comparing these two options. One of the most frequently asked questions is, do I need a lot of money to get started? Now, that's a hard no because both of these platforms let you start with just $5 through fractional shares. Another question is, what happens to my money if the company goes out of business? This is when SIPC covers up to $500,000 per account, and you can always diversify and use different brokers. You can do that to mitigate that risk. And your investments are legally separate from the company's own assets either way. So what that means is that if you got money in an asset, let's say that you got money in the S&P 500 and SoFi goes out of business, then you still got your money there and your money would be technically quote unquote untouched or safe, even though SoFi doesn't exist anymore. And then you can just always withdraw the money or transfer it somewhere else. Now, third question is, which one has better returns? Honestly, neither. Your returns come from what you actually invest in, not so much which broker you end up using. The platform is just a tool, not the thing generating the return. Now, let's talk about risk because this is something that we need to be clear about, and neither platform is the actual risk. Here, the way I personally see it, biggest risk here is the market itself, right? Like what you put your money in, whether you're doing day trading or you're putting money in stocks or you're buying ETFs and index funds. So Your investment can lose value sometimes, yes, and that's completely normal. It's not really a sign that something is wrong or that you picked the wrong platform. SIPC will not save you from a bad month if the market, remember, that only protects you if the company fails itself. The real risk beginners face is not picking the wrong app, it's actually panicking and selling everything during a completely normal market dip. So this is very, very important because what I see a lot of people, especially one time, some my parents actually in the past, they put the money in the market and the market just went down. They freaked out. I don't blame them. They grew up with financial challenges. They didn't know much about investing at the time. They ended up pulling, they ended up losing a little bit of money, and they didn't know that at some point the market would recover, but they ended up being okay. But as long as you know what to expect and how to overcome it, you will be okay and you will come out on top as long as, again, you invest in ETFs and index funds. Personally, I invest in that long term. SoFi fits you best if you already bank there, in my personal recommendation, or if you like the idea of investing, checking, and savings all connected in one place. SoFi is a full fledged ecosystem. Now, public, on the other hand, fits you best if you want the simplest possible way to start, or if you want access to bonds and a high yield cash account alongside your stocks and ETFs. Keep in mind the differences between the offers of these two options is very minimal for beginners based on what you're looking for. Public, it's a little bit more for traders, people that are a little bit more advanced and want to get into day trading. SoFi, in my personal estimation, a little bit more for people that are more long-term investors. And that's the lens through which I am analyzing these two options. So the right choice really depends on what you're already using day to day and what you actually want access to. So pick based on genuine fit, not a feature you're going to use anyway. So if you are ready to start with any of these options, and I'm going to have links in the description for SoFi Invest and for Public, they do support the channel at no additional cost to you. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. And let me know what kind of comments you got in the section below.